The Colorado Rockies take down the Cleveland Guardians by a final score of 7-4. They take the series, and dare I say, do they have some momentum? We'll dive into it on tonight's episode of the Locked On Rockies postcast. Let's get after it.
You are Locked On Rockies postcast, powered by Mile High Sports. Part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It is the Locked On Rockies postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. I hope everybody is doing well out there. This is Locked On Sports, your team every day. And welcome on into our maiden voyage. I am super excited to be a part of the Locked On Network. I've been a big fan of the network for quite some time, and a little bit of a partnership going on between Locked On Sports and Mile High Sports. So some background on myself. I'm Aniello Piro, the digital media manager at Mile High Sports. I've covered the Colorado Rockies in some capacity or another for about the last decade or so, and now I am tasked with taking you, the fan, throughout the rest of the season for just about each and every Colorado Rockies game at the throughout the course of the rest of this season. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have 0 subscribers. This is a brand new channel. We just started the channel like yesterday. So who wants to be the first subscriber? Be sure to smash that subscribe button as it's the Colorado Rockies. I know they won tonight. We'll dive into that. Nice start from Ty Blach, and away we go, right? But we're talking about now a 20-win Colorado Rockies team, so there's going to be plenty of losses. There's going to be some wins, of course, but we'll get through it together. We'll laugh together. We'll cry together. We'll sulk together. We'll do all that good stuff right here on the Locked On Rockies postcast. You can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And what is a postcast? Some of you are probably wondering. It's not so far beyond what you might think it is. Postcast, post-game, right? All kind of in the same denomination. So long story short, when the game ends, we're going to be live on YouTube. The audio feed's going to go up under the Locked On Rockies audio feed as well. So if you're a Rockies fan, if you're a baseball fan, if you like to listen to conversation about the Colorado Rockies, well, this is the place for you. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. And for anyone in the YouTube chats moving forward, make sure to drop some comments. I'll push some stuff up on the screen. We'll have a good time, and we'll get through this season together. But today's episode is presented by our friends over at eBay Motors. Be sure to check them out. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the best prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions, they do apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. All right, let's talk about those fighting Colorado Rockies in their 7-4 win. And we'll talk about those 7 runs coming up a little bit later on in the program. I'll also give you my 3 strikes before we get out of here, which is just kind of my 3 big takeaways from the night, and also looking ahead to the next game for the Rockies. But let's start with the pitching, because it did not look very good at the start of this game. Colorado Rockies starter Ty Blach comes out there and, walks, command issues, whatever it might be. And the Cleveland Guardians, are, looking like they're going to put up a ton of runs in this game, just to kind of put it simply here. And they managed to score a couple of runs here in the first inning, Cleveland did. And from there, Ty Blach was able to lock in his command. This is a guy in Ty that's not going to, throw you 100 miles an hour gas on a consistent basis. This is a guy who's known for pinpointing his location. Remember Tyler Anderson? I feel like he's kind of got a little Tyler Anderson in him, where the velocity is probably going to sit between 90 to 93 on a consistent basis. But when it's all said and done, this is a guy that's not exactly going to blow these guys away. So he finishes with 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. His earned run average now sitting at 4.15 on the season. And as I said, he gave up those 2 runs in the first inning and just really never looked back. And I'm sure the Rocky fan and the baseball fan that's, familiar with the Rockies is accustomed to, especially at Coors Field, like the opposing team coming in and, running up the score off the bat and, all that good stuff. And that's why I lead in the show with saying that, because that's exactly what it looked like here for the Colorado Rockies. It looked like it was going to be another long night, another tough game at 20th and Blake, in large part due to that starting pitching. But when it's all said and done, Ty Blach locks in and keeps the good times rolling for the Colorado Rockies as they take this series against a pretty dang good Cleveland Guardians team 2-1. This was the rubber match. The Rockies obviously lost yesterday in kind of embarrassing fashion, but they also snapped Cleveland's 9-game win streak over the week. Well, I guess technically the weekend on Memorial Day is when they got that first victory. So all in all, a really good performance from the Rockies collectively for the most part. They sputtered a little bit there in the 9th inning. It was looking, a little dicey there for a minute. I was on the phone with somebody as the game was getting ready to end, putting some notes together. And, Tyler Kinley gives up 2 runs in the 9th, and you're like, oh, man, like, here we go again, right? But at the end of the day, Ty Blach doing what he needs to do again. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And this is a pretty potent Cleveland Guardians lineup. They've got talent. Obviously, they're anchored by Jose Ramirez, who did manage to score a run today. But a pretty deep lineup of an organization that I believe they won 75 games a year ago and have now morphed into one of the best teams in the American League. So when it's all said and done, it's a quality win. And I got to update the number now in my head. I believe it's now 7-1 in the last 2 weeks. The Rockies are against teams named the Cleveland Guardians, the Texas Rangers, and the Philadelphia Phillies. 3 of the best teams in Major League Baseball. You're talking about the defending World Series champions in Texas, and then, as I said, a team in Cleveland that has just completely turned things around, and obviously Philly is Philly at this point in time. So, and with that potent lineup, it's easy to kind of get rattled because, the Rockies starting rotation isn't filled with a lot of guys that are like core players, or I don't even know if that's the right way to say it, but like not a lot, like there's some journeymen in the rotation. That's probably the simplest way to put it. And, Ty's been around the block and whatnot. And as I said, not having the velocity or, relying on the break of your pitches, whatever it might be, when you get out to a rough start, it's hard to kind of bounce back in that setting. I'm going to look up how old is Ty. I'm assuming he's probably late 20s, early 30s, if I had to guess. Yeah, he's 33 years old. He's actually from Denver, Colorado, went to Regis Jesuit High School, so shout out to Regis. But he's 33 years old. So you've got a bevy of experience that you're able to lean on if you're Ty, and to just see him kind of, get in that Zen mode, settle down, lock in. I think it was very encouraging, and we'll touch on it to end I just opened up my Maps app on accident. Excuse me. A lot of moving parts behind the scenes. So bear with me as we kind of get rolling here on the program. But like I said, we're going to have basically like 5 of these a week for the most part, sometimes 7 a week. So we'll get better as we go along. But this is his second straight pretty strong start here. He had a great outing against the Philadelphia Phillies as well, where he went 6 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 2 strikeouts. So like I said, it was not looking too good for Ty out of the gate here against Cleveland, but call that now 2 consecutive really nice starts for Ty Blach, and Lord knows the Colorado Rockies could use that right now. So hopefully that is a sign of things to come. He won't pitch in this upcoming series against the Los Angeles Dodgers, but still, to deliver that type of a performance after dealing with the amount of adversity and the level of adversity that he had to deal with out of the gate, I think is certainly a positive thing. And at this point in the year, here we are, it's about to be June. It's May 29th on this recording. You'll take the wins however you can get them. And like I said, I know the end of that game was a little dicey with Tyler Kinley giving up those 2 runs in the 9th inning. But I think it was Drew on the broadcast today was talking about, when he finished his day with the 7 complete innings, like after the first inning, I don't know how many people thought that Ty Blach would still be, pitching 7 strong for the Colorado Rockies in this game. So you absolutely love to see that. For the Colorado Rockies is Ty Blach, a very, very nice start from him. So that's the first big takeaway of the day. We'll get ready to hit a quick break here, and I want to talk about the offense because that's what the Colorado Rockies are known for. And that Oprah Winfrey segment, like you get a car, everybody gets a car. That's kind of what it was like for the Colorado Rockies offense tonight when it comes to getting a base hit, because all of these guys, for the most part, throughout the lineup, did a very good job of, putting the bat on the ball, hitting the ball up the middle, and finding a way to get on base and coming around and scoring those runs. So we will talk about that when we come back right here on the Locked On Rockies postcast. All right, let me tell you once again about our friends over at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. So the formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's guaranteed fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions, they do apply. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. Be sure to check out our friends over at eBay Motors. And away we go. All right, welcome on back into the Locked On Rockies postcast, your team every day. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. This is our maiden voyage. Hope everybody is doing well out there as the Colorado Rockies take down the Cleveland Guardians by a final score of 7-4. All in all, a really, really strong showing from the Colorado Rockies. We talked about Ty Blach to open up the show. Did a great job of settling down after that, interesting first inning, just command issues, walks, against a very good, formidable Cleveland Guardians team. So when it's all said and done, you like to see that. But I think one of the main takeaways as well from this game has got to be the production that we saw across the board from the Colorado Rockies offense. So like I said, that Oprah Winfrey, you get a car and you get a car and you get a car. Let me read this off. Ezekiel Tovar, you get a hit. Brendan Rodgers, you get a hit. Ryan McMahon, you get a hit. Elias Diaz, you get a hit. Where am I? Ellery Montero, you get a hit. Brandon Doyle, you don't get just one hit, you get two hits, and so on and so forth. Jacob Stallings with a base hit. Bouchard, actually the only Rocky starter that did not get a hit. So Bouchard, we gotta get on that, buddy. And Mr. Goodman as well, finishing out with a base hit as well. So all in all, that's a recipe for success. And I know in today's era of Major League Baseball, we can tend to get so hyper-focused on the analytics and the long ball and the home run. And I'm a National League Baseball guy. I love the bunt. I love the base steal. I love the nuance of National League Baseball, right? And it feels like some of that has been done away with in recent memory. I think some of the rule changes, the bigger bases, we even saw, I forget what inning it was in, but one of the Cleveland Guardians runners was called out for obstruction for running out of the baseline. And so I think baseball as a game, Rob Manfred, who I know people love to have mixed reviews on, I think there's a lot of moving parts with the game right now, but I do think you're seeing some more offensive production, specifically tonight with the Colorado Rockies. And, you're talking about a team that's, for lack of a better phrase, the definition of hot and cold. And they go out there and they take out Allen in an inning and 2/3, 6 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, and only 1 strikeout. So they go out there and, they get the job done against a Cleveland Guardians team, that is pretty good. And Logan Allen now 6-3 on the year, 5.83 ERA and 58 in 2/3 innings pitched. So all in all, this is not exactly, vintage Clayton Kershaw that they were going up against. But like I said, against a Cleveland Guardians team that entering into Monday's game was 9-1, or on a 9-game win streak, their longest since 2017. To see them take care of business, take 2 out of 3. And look, I'm not saying the Rockies are going to take 2 out of 3 against every team the rest of the way. I'd be a crazy man if I said that, but that is the recipe. And I've always said with the Rockies, look, we know what this team is going to be. And we know that they lack some of that star power, right? Charlie Blackmon's been fun. Chris Bryant hasn't worked out, but they've got some the comparison that I made to start the year. Last season was a total lost cause. And this year, while it still certainly feels like a lost cause to an extent, there's some guys you can get excited about. Ryan McMahon has been stepping it up for this team. Ezekiel Tovar is one of the best defensive shortstops in the game already. You've got guys like Ellery Montero who's starting to come into his own. And with Montero is the one that I am so intrigued to see how he pans out in this league, because you got Austin Gomber, the pitcher. Gomber and Ellery Montero were the 2 focal points of the Nolan Arenado trade that sent him to the St. Louis Cardinals. Gomber's actually been pretty good for this team last year after some up and down moments throughout the first couple of seasons in Colorado. But Montero, I know there were some questions about maturity, taking the game serious, holding himself accountable. I don't want to say laziness, but just, neck up. We know neck down physically. Ellery Montero's a heck of a baseball player. I think it's just about helping that translate to the major league level on a consistent basis. I mean, this is a guy that was sent down a couple of times last season, could not stick with the major league roster. So hopefully tonight with Montero, scores a run, gets a big hit for the Rockies as well. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come. Let's go over some of the scoring plays here for the Colorado Rockies. In the bottom of the first, the Rockies managed to get some of those runs back. Ryan McMahon, a single on a fly ball. Ezekiel Tovar, who we just talked about, managed to score in that one. And then in the bottom of the second, that's where the Rockies basically did the rest of their damage. There was not a single run scored after the second inning until the top of the ninth, or the bottom of the ninth, or yes, top of the ninth inning, when Cleveland put up 2, and I started to sweat because I was putting like the thumbnail together, the description, and I'm like, oh my God. So I've been in the Rockies press box for probably 3 full seasons over the last 6 years or so. I'm not in there as much. I'm going to be now that I'm doing this postcast with you guys. But like there was like, all the beat reporters are sitting in the front row, right? And the disgust, the silence in the press box when the Rockies blow a 3, 4, 5, 6 run lead in the game. And, because that's the thing is like, much like this show, like I'm kind of putting the roadmap to the show together as the game's going on, right? And much like that, the beat reporters are, like getting ready to hit submit. They're on deadline. They got to get their stuff in, right? And then it's like, you never know what's going to happen at Coors Field. You never know what's going to happen with this Colorado Rockies team. But those 7 runs proved to be just enough. Well, not just, but enough for the Colorado Rockies to get this game. Bottom of the second inning, Jacob Stallings stays hot, his 4th double of the year. Ellery Montero, who we just talked about, managed to score there. And then a little small ball. Sean Bouchard, sac fly. Doyle comes home. Hunter Goodman, RBI single. Brendan Rodgers caps it off with a 2-run bomb. You absolutely love to see it for the Colorado Rockies because I mean, I even think back to like the Tulo Cargo Nato days, right? And then scoring has never been an issue. It's never been an issue. It's pitching and keeping games close. And I mean, what they lose 13-7, I think it was last night. Not tonight as in Wednesday, but on Tuesday night. I mean, how are you supposed to compete when your opponent's scoring double-digit runs, right? Like you can explode for these 7 runs, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs, whatever it might be. That's kind of the norm for the Rockies. And I know that like maybe the offensive output hasn't necessarily been there for them over the last couple of years as they're in this kind of weird adjustment stage. But like I said, I mean, Brendan Rodgers is a heck of a player. He's some unlucky injuries, a young guy when he was coming up, some different roles, but now he's playing every day. Ryan McMahon is a veteran at this point. Like this is not Ryan McMahon who was, batting 6th, in those playoff seasons or whatever it might be. This is your everyday third baseman. We talked about Ellery Montero, a guy who's got a lot of potential. Brenton Doyle, turning into one of the most exciting young players in Major League Baseball. And it's like, God forbid, could Chris Bryant get going? I know he didn't play today, which was weird because he had a good game on Tuesday. And usually Buddy Black likes to reward his players and trying to build. I don't know what's going on with Chris Bryant. Just to be honest, no idea. Arguably one of the worst contracts in Major League Baseball history at this point. I mean, you've just gotten nothing out of the guy. And look, I know that there's been injuries and this and that, but I've always said this is the youth movement. Right? You're listening to this Locked On postcast 2, 3, 4 years from now. Hopefully these guys are competing for the playoffs, and that's what I've always said with the Rockies is. Obviously you want to try to win the World Series. They've never done it. I mean, can we start with winning a division? The Rockies have never done that either. But at the end of the day, my message with the Rockies is always be competitive. You don't have to be in the playoffs every year. You don't have to be a postseason contender every single season. Play 500 ball. Keep the people interested. Show people what the future is. And I know that this season's been a little rough in large part because of the pitching, but I think offensively, there's a lot of young guys that are playing, close to every day for this Colorado Rockies team. And look, Charlie Blackmon, not in the lineup tonight, taking on a little bit more of a mentorship role. He's obviously still playing, but things are changing with the Rockies. And I know they've been kind of stuck in this purgatory phase for quite some time, but at the end of the day, this is a very quality win for the Rockies tonight. And like I said, contributions up and down the lineup: Rodgers, McMahon, Diaz, Montero, Doyle, Stallings, Goodman. You were just getting contributions from a number of different guys, and you absolutely love to see that. And hopefully that's a sign of things to come. And I know general manager Bill Schmidt, when they were, I forget how many games they had lost in a row at that point, was talking about things will change. Good things are coming. I mean, I know there's only 2 days left in May, but there are, we're still June is still has to be played. July still has to be played. August still has to be played. There's plenty of baseball still to be played out there. And I'm personally excited to see how some of these young guys end up making it work here as the season continues to progress. But all in all, 7 runs, good enough for the Colorado Rockies and contributions up and down the lineup. Doing a great job of helping out their starting pitcher, bailing him out a little bit in Ty Blach. And then he goes to 7 strong. Big time Rockies wins. So we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, I'll give you my 3 strikes. That's going to be our benchmark segment as we move forward throughout the show. 3 takes, 3 opinions, 3 news and notes topics to send you guys on your way. We'll take a look at that next series coming up against the Los Angeles Dodgers. An off day for the Rockies tomorrow, but we'll kind of rehash some of our thoughts here from tonight's 7-4 victory. A good dub for the Colorado Rockies. When we come back right here on the Locked On Rockies postcast. All right, and let me get this bad boy up real quick. Let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. It's winner take all time in the NBA and the NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's right, $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com and get in on the action today. All right, welcome on back into the Locked On Rockies postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. This is our maiden voyage. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. And a big time 7-4 victory for the Colorado Rockies tonight over the Cleveland Guardians, one of the better teams in the American League. The Rockies get their 20th win of the season, and hopefully that is a sign of things to come as they get ready to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. So all in all, kind of some recap stuff here. We'll do our 3 strikes. So we'll kind of go topic by topic. We'll end with a look ahead for Friday as they get ready to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. But in closing, Ty Blach, not just 1 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. In the face of adversity, he does an absolutely stellar job of not letting that first inning get the best of him. We've seen it time and time again. Like, I grew up a New York Met fan, and I forget his first name, but you saw the relief pitcher, if you were paying attention or if you were on social media, got yanked out of the game, threw his glove into the stands, went on to call his team one of the expletive worst teams, if not the worst team in Major League Baseball. Like, there's a lot of mental frustration that this game can provide, especially when you're on a losing team, right? And you're losing game after game after game after game. It's not easy, especially when you're losing in ugly fashion. I can't get that Oakland A's loss from last week out of my head. I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of how you're just conditioned with this Colorado Rockies team. But that was not the case tonight. And I'm going to relish this moment because I'd imagine that there's going to be a lot of negativity on this podcast, a lot of losing. And, that's why I always say we're going to get through it together. We're going to have fun with it together. We're going to laugh a lot. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like sometimes when I mess something up, like after the heat of the moment kind of like gets away and like I can kind of decompress, I laugh. Like, that's like one of my coping mechanisms. And I think like that's the case with a lot of these Rockies games and this Rockies team right now, because this is an organization that sometimes finds new ways to lose or loses in some of the most disheartening and embarrassing fashion, that you've seen just in general. So like I said, we're going to get through it together. Be sure to follow me on social @media_by_AP. But Ty Blach does a great job tonight, holds it down for the Rockies after that Rocky first inning. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. It's a 4.15 ERA on the season for Ty. And as I mentioned to start the show in the first segment, hopefully that's a sign of things to come, because Austin Gomber's been pretty good and consistent for the most part. Can they get more consistency out of this starting rotation? The bullpen, another question. But if you can get your starters to give you, 5, 6, 7 quality innings, on a majority of their starts, you're going to set yourself up for success. And I think that's been the frustration with the Rockies and with their fans as well, is like, you're shooting yourself in the foot out of the gate sometimes. Like, there is no chance to win some of these games with how they've been played. Or these games just, get away from you in the blink of an eye. And got to give credit where credit is due. Ty Blach, does a great job of not letting this one get away from him. So that is strike 1. Good outing for Ty Blach. His second straight strong start. Will it continue? I know the Rockies and their fans certainly hope so. Strike 2, 28. That's the number of runs the Colorado Rockies scored in this series against the Cleveland Guardians. Really good showing from them. Look, we know the Rockies at some point or another, no matter how bad their record says they are, they're going to figure out a way to score runs and score runs at home. And they did just that tonight and throughout the series. 28 runs for the Rockies. And I'll give you a game-by-game breakdown here. I got all these different screens pulled up so I can give you some notes and insight. They win game one, 8-6, so a close game there. That snapped the Cleveland Guardians' 9-game win streak at the time. Then they lose 13-7. Like, how are you realistically supposed to win a game where you're giving up 13 runs? Like, 7 runs in a game is pretty darn good. Like, you're happy with 7 runs for the most part, but not when the other team scores double digits and not when the other team scores 13 to be exact. But what are those drawing things, like where you shake it with the sand, right? But you kind of twist I forget what it's, draw and scratch. I don't know what, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like those things that you used to play at like the doctor's office as a kid. Short-term memory. The Rockies, okay, we lost 13-7. Shake it off, right? New game. And they come out tonight and they get that 7-4 victory. And really, it was 7-2 for a majority of the game. It wasn't until the top of the 9th inning, that I was starting to hold my breath a little bit because I was wondering if they were going to blow it because unfortunately we've seen it time and time again. Tyler Kinley giving up those 2 runs in the 9th. But like I said, 28 runs scored for the Rockies in this series. You absolutely love to see that, especially because they're going to get ready to take on a Los Angeles Dodgers team that is, they're the Dodgers. You just kind of know what you're going to get with them. And historically, it's a team that's fared pretty darn well against the Colorado Rockies. But Brendan Rodgers, big 2-run home run. You absolutely love to see that from him. Ryan McMahon doing his thing. Ezequiel Tovar continuing to find ways to get on base. Ellery Montero finding ways to get on base. Brenton Doyle doing his thing. And like I said, up and down, this Rockies lineup did their job. Not a lot of, guys that had 2. I think only one player had 2 hits in this game, or multiple hits, I should say, rather. Here, I'll pull it up for you real quick as we get ready to play my Jeopardy music as I do this. Yeah, but Tovar a hit, Brendan Rodgers a hit, McMahon a hit, Diaz a hit. Yeah, Brenton Doyle was the only player on the Rockies that had 2 base hit, or more than 1 hit tonight. He had 2. And, I'm looking at the lineup here, their top 4 guys tonight hitting for average. Tovar's hitting 286, a big step up for him from last year. Rodgers hitting 266. You'd like to see that go up. McMahon's hitting 286. You love to see that. Diaz 299. Montero 225. You want to see that go up. But you got Stallings, who's been red hot. Jacob Stallings hitting 319. Brenton Doyle hitting 271. So, these guys have an ability to get on base. It's the timely base hit. It's the home run, which we saw from Brendan Rodgers tonight, a 2-run bomb from him. So, like I said, 28 runs scored for the Rockies in this game. You want to see that continue along as they get ready to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers, which brings us to strike 3. Friday's game. Dakota Hudson. Oh, my gosh, these numbers are not good. He's going to be the Rockies starter, the projected starter for this series opener against Los Angeles. He is 1-7 with a 5.54 earned run average. And then Walker Buehler, who's actually having a down year, he's 1-2 with a 4.26 earned run average. But over the last 2 weeks, the Rockies against teams named the Texas Rangers, the Philadelphia Phillies, and now the Cleveland Guardians, I believe it is a 7-1 record against those teams, who are some of the best teams in Major League Baseball. And now the Rockies will look to carry over that momentum from their series win against the Cleveland Guardians as they move forward here to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And, they're going to need it. They're absolutely positively going to need it. So we'll see what is in store here for the Colorado Rockies as we get ready for this weekend series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So in closing, once again, folks, a 7-4 victory for the Colorado Rockies in the rubber game, the final game of the series against the Cleveland Guardians. Ty Blach does a great job of blotching. Maybe that one didn't resonate, but stops the bleeding, for lack of a better phrase, after giving up a couple of runs there in the first inning. And the rest of the Rockies lineup does their part, picking up their starting pitcher. Damn near everybody gets a hit in that game. And I think the highlight of that is Brendan Rodgers with the 2-run bombs. So 28 runs scored in the series, a 2-1 series victory, and a 7-4 victory for Colorado on this Wednesday night. Next up, it is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Like I said, the projected starting pitcher is Dakota Hudson going up against Walker Buehler. It should be an exciting game, and I'm looking forward to that one. But once again, folks, I'm Aniello Piro. You can follow me on social media at Media by AP. I'm going to be your host of the Locked On Rockies postcast. We'll take you along the way after each and every Colorado Rockies game. There are going to be some highs. There's going to be a lot of lows. We'll get through it together. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel right here on the Locked On channel. And again, follow us on social media. I'm at Media by AP. This is in partnership with Mile High Sports. So you can follow us over there as well at Mile High Sports. But that's going to do it for me. Shout out to our sponsors, eBay Motors. And this is Locked On Sports, your team every day. We'll talk to you guys this weekend.